So with all the news that are coming out about Ubisoft, I think it's safe to say that things are just melting down over there. People are losing their minds. Executives are not happy. Workers are not happy. Developers are not happy. Everybody's not happy at Ubisoft. The only people who are happy are the ones who they told they need to get comfortable not owning their games, which, unfortunately for them, were the people that were actually buying their games. You know, the actual gamers. Well, we apparently have the monetization director, which, by the way, I want to make it clear at the start of this video that of all the people to melt down, I find it amazing that the one who's melting down is the monetization director, the one who's probably in charge of making Ubisoft games have a $139.99 edition. It's just insane. The person who nickel and dimes everyone is okay with apparently melting down over basically everything that's happening at Ubisoft right now.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
So apparently the monetization director is not very happy. His name is Stevie Chassard, and he's lashing out at gamers and also fellow developers because, hey, you might as well, right? Friendly fire is a thing when shit hits the fans. Let's get into this article, guys, from That Part Place. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. It says Stevie Chassard, the monetization director at Ubisoft, lashed out at gamers and his fellow developers in the wake of the company postponing Assassin's Creed Shadows and admitting that its sales on Star Wars Outlaws were in fact softer than expected. About a week after the press release, Chassard took to his LinkedIn, which, by the way, you guys notice something? All these activist developers, all these people who are in the gaming industry, they're choosing to go to their LinkedIn to go complain. I don't really know why that is, right? I guess it's because they don't like Twitter anymore, but they can't stay away from Twitter, so they use Twitter for like light browsing and whatnot. But they've been using their LinkedIns to have meltdowns lately. He's not the only one to do this. A lot of them have been doing this. You know, we've been reporting on it and talking about it. I just found it interesting, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, wow, why is that? I guess because at the LinkedIn level, there's probably more of an echo chamber there, right? You're followed by people all within the same industry who are never going to tell you that, hey, you're acting crazy, you're doing something stupid, blah, blah, blah. Your chances of you hearing that on LinkedIn is a lot smaller than you hearing it on Twitter. So this is probably why they're going to LinkedIn, of all places, to lose their minds. But again, he went and lashed out at gamers and his fellow developers, celebrating the demise of Ubisoft. He wrote the following: I rarely post on social media, but today I am sad, ashamed, and sad. The gaming industry is rough at the moment. We all know it. But seeing how gamers react on social medias, wishing ill fate to companies and people alike, is sad. And not only towards Ubisoft. Even though it is always the vocal minority that expresses themselves on social media, I was hurt and ashamed to be part of this community. He added, well, let's be very clear, okay, Stevie, whatever. Let's be very clear. The people that are lashing out right now, the gamers, as you want to call them, that are lashing out right now, are the ones that you essentially told to go fuck themselves. They're the ones who you tried to say they need to be comfortable not owning games. They're the ones who you guys like to complain and call chuds or racist or misogynist or sexist. All you're doing right now is receiving the information that was previously stifled from your ears, right? Because Twitter was a safe space for you guys. Twitter was being I would say self-censored. You know, they had a lot of bots and a lot of things in place that would stifle any criticism against anything that wasn't even remotely left-wing. Now that is not the case anymore. So you guys want to pretend as if things are getting really bad right now, when in all actuality, all you're doing is just hearing what was already there, but you're hearing it now for the first time. See, this is the problem when you have safe spaces, when you live in a world that has safe spaces, because eventually that safe space is going to go away. And when you've been comforted by that safe space for so many years, once it goes away, you're not going to know what to do with yourself. You're going to end up posting on LinkedIn like you're doing right now and losing your mind and lamenting the state of the gaming industry right now. And again, also, just to reiterate, You guys are the ones that started attacking gamers first. It's not the other way around. This is just a counter reaction to what you decided to begin with in the first place. None of you guys want to take accountability for your actions. No developer wants to take accountability. Nobody in the gaming industry wants to take accountability. You all want to pretend like it's the gamer's fault. It's only in your industry, in the entertainment industry, that it's somehow the customer's fault as to why you guys are being losers right now. It doesn't make any sense. How is it the customer's fault that your projects failed? How is that? You guys need to seriously start looking at yourself and take some goddamn accountability, because ultimately you are clearly very allergic to accountability. But regardless, last but not least too, this part right here, I don't have the video clip saved to play on video right now, but you guys already know what I'm going to say. Oh, we're the vocal minority? Not according to those sales numbers, we're not. The whole hashtag, there's more of us? Yeah, no, there's not. There's not more of you. There's much more of us. He then directed his anger at his fellow developers. What is even more revolting is coming on LinkedIn and seeing the same comments from people within the industry. On top of exposing yourself as a clearly non-decent human being, you are affecting thousands of employees that are already impacted by all the hate, despite doing their best to deliver incredible experiences, my guy. Just because you think an experience is incredible doesn't think the gamers think the experience is incredible. See, this is the problem. You guys are making video games for yourselves. You're trying to sell yourselves on the stories that you're making, and you're not trying to sell the gamers on the stories that you're making. So what ends up happening is that your game comes out that we all know is going to be trash, and it ends up being trash from the few people that tried it. Word of mouth gets around, and your game flops. That's not our fault. Okay, you can try to keep blaming gamers as much as you want, but perhaps you should start making people for the mass audience again. You should start making games for the mass audience again, and stop making video games for either yourselves or the 0.5% who are very loud on Twitter about stunning and bravery and DEI and all this nonsense. Like, nobody cares, my guy. Stop blaming your customers. That is such a bitch look. I really don't know how else to put it other than that. How can you wish a company to fail simply because they do not cater to you or that the product does not please you is beyond me. Well, that's because we are gamers, my guy. Like, you don't understand. We are gamers. You guys used to make video games for gamers. Ubisoft used to make experiences for gamers. Now you are making experiences for yourselves. You are making experiences for ESG investors. You are making experiences for somebody totally different than what you've been doing for the last, I don't even know how many years you guys have been around, a long freaking time. You're doing what a lot of other companies are doing, which is pivoting to a certain audience that doesn't buy their stuff. And then you have the audacity to sit there on your platforms like LinkedIn and complain that your projects are failing. And then you want to do the pity party. You want to say, oh, we're just developers working hard. We're just working. Listen, bitch, I work hard every day. Okay, I work hard every single fucking day. And the last thing I care about is whether or not I get like a mass amount of people watching. Of course I want people to watch, all right? Every YouTuber wants them to watch. But if people don't watch the video, guess what? I start the next day and try to do a better video. That's all I do. I just keep trying to do more content, better live streams, lots of fun, as much as I possibly can to entertain people, and I put the work in. The last thing you're going to catch me doing is bitching on Twitter about how people aren't watching me anymore, they're not supporting me. Like, no, if I ever lose support, then I'm going to look at myself and figure out what I got to do to get better. That's what I'm going to look at. You guys, on the other hand, you lose support, and you're like, it's the fault of the customers. They're just angry chuds. And this is why you are in the position that you're in. He concluded, we are all in the same boat. Please, please, please stop spreading hate. We should all uplift each other instead of bringing each other down. You're a loser. Okay, how about that? How about that for spreading hate? You are an absolute loser, okay? This is not how the real world works. You guys are not performing to the level of which you need to be performing or that you potentially can perform. As shown in the past, you're purposely performing, you're underperforming. And there could be a bunch of reasons why that is, and none of them you want to address. You don't want to address any of them. You just want people to support you just because you're a nice guy. No, that's not how this works, man. The real world doesn't work like that, and the real world doesn't have time for your soft-ass shit. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.